Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video here today. So today's video is going to be a color blending on beacon video. As you can see behind me, this is the mock-up I've made. And if you don't know that you can blend colors in beacons, you can. So say you go ahead and you mix a red, you see it's pure red. Then you go ahead and you mix in a pink. It then becomes a pinkish red. And then say you want to go ahead and mix in an orange. It then becomes this kind of reddish tangerine color, reddish pinkish. But yeah, guys, as per usual, here's your supply list. And let's get into it, shall we? Okay, guys, so for step one, make a control panel. This can be as big or as small as you want to. Mine's going to be a 3x3. Next, go ahead and put observers. Now, before you put the top line on, go ahead and put your comparators in for this one. And go like so. Now, the comparators are actually going to be for this line, not for this line, because each one needs to be independent of itself. Then put copper bulbs, and again, then put repeaters, then copper bulbs again. Then what you're going to go ahead and do is you want to have stone like so, and you want to have comparator here. I forgot to do the bottom section. Comparator down here. And then once you have that pretty much done, then go ahead and have this come out like so. And have this come out like so. And pretty much what we're doing here is we're gonna have another repeater on all these sections. And what this will do is this will start powering our redstone kind of torch line system right here. And this is how you get up higher into the beacon section. And there you have it, guys. There's part one. Okay, guys, so for step two, this is going to be a less technical step and just more of a layout step. So come over to this side and then come out 5 blocks. And then come over by 1, and this right here is going to be where your beacon goes. So go ahead and set it up. Now, what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to start your sticky piston spiral, and it'll kind of go in a spiral in this direction. So go like so. And keep going until you have 9 pistons. And there you have it, guys. That's pretty much going to be your basic layout for step 2. Okay, guys, so for steps 3 and 4, we're going to go ahead and build the actual entangled redstone web. And the reason why we're splitting it is so that way it's easier for you guys to digest and you can break it into parts and I don't screw up as much. So what you're going to go ahead and do is you still want to have a single line right here, but you can break this single line up any way you want to. Best way I found to do it is to have a line of 3 repeaters coming off of those blocks. Like so. And then put a line of blocks in front of that. Now, go ahead and put redstone dust here. When this activates, this turns on, this curves into this, and powers this. For this one's pretty simple as well. Just have redstone dust coming off the center one and link straight into this piston. This one, what you want to do is you want to have another repeater coming off of this block so that way you don't interfere with that. Put a redstone dust, have a block that cuts the power from this to this so that way there's no interference with that. Come outwards like so, and this actually wants to be a block right here with a torch. And then once you have that hooked up, you want to go ahead and have that go into a block like so, and have that go into another torch, so that way that powers that. Now, the main reason we kind of have this type of system hooked up right here is so that way we can scale upwards while still keeping the anonymity of each of the lines separate. So come off of this section right here and come up. And then once you've done that, go ahead and put a torch. And there you have it, guys. There is part 3. Part 3 is a lot simpler than part 4 because part 4 we start dealing with scaffolding and a lot more complex redstone. Okay, guys, so for part 4, what we're going to start with is we're going to start with this scaffolding. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we want to have this entire section right here come up by one more block. Like so. You want to leave this one blank because we're done with this line. So you just need to have these two. And then once you go ahead and do that, then you're going to want to have this back scaffolding also come up further. So have it go like so. And then you're going to want to go ahead and have this come up one more. And then eventually one of these lines will come up further, but we will get into that once we get into these because that's less of the scaffolding stack and more of individual redstone, which I've broken this step down into. Now, what you're going to go ahead and do once you get to this stage, you're going to want to go ahead and be able to look into it like so. And you want to have this come out by one and then come over, and this is gonna how you're gonna be hooking this up to here. And then once you go ahead and pull that off, go ahead and have this kind of go up right here, have this come up, and then I'm just gonna put this in here later because this is gonna be for a different line later on. And then kind of go in here like so, then block this off. Then have this come out. And in case you're wondering, no, this will not activate this. This activates this. It does still work in Bedrock. And then have that go like so. And then once you have all of those knocked out, then the reason why we have that like so, you're going to want to grab a glass block. So once you have that pretty much knocked out, go into here, and yes, I do currently have pictures of the inside, so that way I don't have to go back and forth constantly between this and recording a segment. So go ahead and put a glass block right there. Don't exactly remember why I put a glass block right there. Put a glass block right there. And go like so. And as you can see, that now powers that. So what we're gonna have to do is eventually put a torch in there. Oh, that's how I did that. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and break that. Put a torch right there and go ahead and go like this. When experimenting with this, I've had a lot of stuff going on, so half of that is mixing in with this, so I don't exactly remember how to make that entirely, which is why I have photo diagrams on how to make a lot of this stuff. So once you have that knocked out, you're gonna then want to have, if I just go back over to it, you're going to want to go ahead and have this block come up like so, and have this poke up. Have this poke up so that way it doesn't interfere. Have this come out like so. And this one's going to hook up to this system. So go ahead and have this redstone line trace like so, and go ahead and put a torch there. do that right. I might have screwed that up just a hair. I was right. You do want to have a repeater right here. So what's going to happen is if you have this block right here with a normal redstone dust, that's going to power that, and that's going to cause issues. So go ahead and put another torch, not right there, but right here. And what that torch is going to do is, once you go ahead and put a block on top of this, put a block on top of this, then have redstone dust come out like so, have you just come out and drape onto it. And there you have it, guys, the spaghetti web that is the redstone needed to hook up all of the pistons. And as you can see, each one is its own individual circuit. Okay guys, so for the last step, this is just going to be extra, so go ahead and fill in your glass. Now you can put whatever colors you want here, these are just the colors I decided to go with. And then I also put pink in here, but you can also put tinted glass and make that an off feature for this. Then once you have that all hooked up, go ahead and install your levers. And there you have it, guys. As you can see, if I go ahead and flip on red, only red turns on. If I go ahead and click on, let's see, I believe it's blue, then only blue will flick on because of a bunch of shenanigans of this powering this, which eventually comes to power this off, which eventually lets this power on, pushing that in. A little bit of backwards on thinking. And then say I want to go ahead and add a purple. Same system still works. One thing though with this center line is because you're not using a repeater, or you're using a repeater because you're not using an observer, you will, as you can see, I flicked it off, but it doesn't fully turn off. That's because while this measures the red dot on the copper bulb, the comparators right there only just measure if it's on, not if it's currently powered. So go ahead and just flick it on and off one more time and it turns off. There you have it, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day.